What it do, y'all? Welcome back to the Fandom Frequency Network, man. We be breaking down the entire multiverse of fandom, whether it's movies, anime, music, everything in between. We get into it here, and if you're just joining us for the first time, we do a lot of different stuff around here. Reviews, reactions, recaps, rankings, long form, short form. We do it all. So make sure you're clicking the subscribe down below the video so you don't miss any of that dopeness. But let's get into today's topic and the dopeness that is a Knives Out mystery. Knives Out 2, Glass Onion, baby. Rian Johnson came back with the follow-up to his whodunit from 2019, which was literally in my top 3 of that year. I absolutely love that movie, man. And if you've seen it and you love it as well, drop it down in the comments and let me know what you love about it. But love that movie, love the cast. Jamie Lee Curtis, Chris Evans, Anna de Armas.
Up your ass.
Oh, very nice.
Matter of fact, eat shit. How's that? Eat shit, eat shit, eat shit.
Smug smile.
Definitely eat shit.
Just great stuff, man. Don Johnson, the list goes on and on. Michael Shannon. It's a great movie. But getting into this one, Glass Onion, the follow-up to the 2019 modern classic, in my opinion. Yeah, so it's been about 3 years. My boy Rian Johnson over here got a $450 million plus deal from Netflix to exclusively distribute the next 2 installments. So we got a Knives Out 3 coming. Can't wait to see what's going on with that. But yeah, man, this was one of my most anticipated movies of the year. I was super hyped to see this thing. I did get a chance to see the limited theatrical run they did in November, but finally got a chance to see it over the holiday weekend and just been busy with that good old 9 to 5, you know what I'm saying? Got to pay the bills, baby, got to pay the bills. But now that I finally get a chance to sit down and discuss this film with all you beautiful people out there, I got to say, I love this movie. I fucking loved it. It was phenomenal, man. From top to bottom, this cast was just as incredible as the previous cast, if not maybe more entertaining, if not maybe better. Because you got, man, let's get the breakdown. You got Daniel Craig coming back as Benoit Blanc, of course. You got the incredibly talented and beautiful Janelle Monáe coming up in here with 2 dual roles of Helen and Andy, which is very interesting. You got Dave Bautista up in here, man. The animal is back. And he is up in here. You got his girlfriend in the film, Whiskey. I can't remember the name of the actress right now. My bad. Yeah, man. You got, man, I'm blanking. Catherine Hahn, Kate Hudson, Edward Norton, Jessica Henwick, and I keep forgetting Leslie Odom Jr. Thank you. God damn, man. Got to represent. But yeah, there you go. But that's the cast, man. And I got to say, the number one thing I loved about this movie was the writing. The writing is so fucking good with this movie, man. It's so fucking good. Like the whole mystery of, so pretty much Edward Norton's character, he's friends with all the other characters in the film, all the other peoples and whatnot. And so you have Edward Norton's character, and he's planning this whole murder mystery party on this remote island that he has because he's become a multi-billionaire after the discovery him and Janelle Monáe's character Andy made together, and they formed this company, but then he ended up taking everything for himself and became a billionaire and spread his wealth and resources and influence for the rest of his friends, because him and Catherine Hahn and all these other people, they met at a bar called the Glass Onion years ago, became great friends. Once he hit it big, he spread his wealth, got them going in what they were doing. You know, Leslie Odom Jr., he's a scientist, and he does, you know, his own thing and, you know, making the money. Catherine Hahn became a politician, so he's bankrolling her campaign to get into office. Kate Hudson's like a big fashion designer, kind of a social media influencer kind of type. And she's one of those ones that's like on some Kanye shit, but for white people apparently, because she just keeps saying the most fucked up, insensitive, wrong shit. So she's like constantly having to have Jessica Henwick, her assistant, pretty much play cleanup online and has to take her phone away from her and all this shit. It's so funny, man, just the way they set all these characters up to go on this wacky little murder mystery, man. And that's another thing I really love with this movie was just the characters, man. Like, all these actors are somewhat playing against type, somewhat playing into type. Like Edward Norton, I suspected him from the get-go. So he always plays a bad guy in almost literally every film I've ever seen him in, except Fight Club and Incredible Hulk. But literally every other movie I've seen him in, he plays an antagonist or villain of some type. So I figured he had something to do with it. And it turns out, spoiler alert, you should have saw it on the thumbnail already, he's the one that ended up doing the whole thing. And I figured that from the jump. So that's one of my only real mixed kind of negative aspects of this movie. I did think that the whole reveal of who did it was a little bit obvious if you're familiar with the actors or if you're familiar with their work or the characters they tend to play. If you're going into this thing pretty fresh, you don't really necessarily know Edward Norton, the type of characters he plays, his career, whatever, what have you, then you won't really know necessarily that obviously. But I do think that the way the murder mystery was set up in this one, you don't have as many suspects as, at least for me when I was watching it, I didn't have as long of a suspect list as I did the previous movie. You know what I mean? But overall, with the twists and turns and the way that he weaved this mystery together, he being Rian Johnson, and the way that you think you're seeing Andy, Janelle Monáe's character, the whole time, but you're really seeing her twin sister, Helen, who's pretending to be Andy in order for them to get on the island, in order to investigate, in order for them to drop their guard. So Benoit, he can go around and kind of look into stuff. Benoit Blanc, no relation to the wrestler. So they do that to pull the wool over everyone's eyes, so that way he can go around and do his investigating. She can poke around and he can keep him distracted, so that way they can find out who killed her sister. And because she was going to reveal some secrets to where Edward Norton's character would get ousted as not being the originator of the idea that they wrote down on this napkin at the Glass Onion bar back in the day. And Andy actually got her, still had the napkin, came across it, and sent and had it sealed in an envelope, and was gonna pretty much blackmail everybody to be, hey, I'm gonna put all this information out there and fuck all your shit up. So tell people the truth, give me what's mine. But it doesn't turn out that well because she ends up getting killed non-violently by Edward Norton's character, and then that spins this whole murder mystery into motion. But I love the way that in the first half of the film, you pick up with all the characters getting the invitation with the cool little box thing. That gave me some serious Hogwarts vibes. I don't know why. But they all got this invitation in the form of this puzzle box. And the puzzle box revealed the invitation and told them what was going on with it and everything like that. And I love the way that the film starts off with that. You get to meet all the different characters. Kate Hudson's character, Leslie Odom Jr., even Benoit Blanc, who's been going cuckoo bananas, getting getting a little bit of that cabin fever, because in this film, the pandemic actually has taken place. So it's actually kind of in the middle of slightly post-pandemic, kind of in the period we've been in for the last year and a half. So I really actually liked how Rian Johnson worked in some, not social commentary, but just like stuff that's going on socially in the world right now. It does make the movie a little bit more palpable, a little more real, a little bit more grounded in a way that makes it very funny and also makes it very relatable and interesting at the same time, and plays into a lot of the things going on. So definitely dug all that, and all the social commentary that was bubbling under the surface I thought was really good about classism and how people should be doing these get-rich-quick schemes no matter who they got to step on to do it. I really, really enjoyed all of that. All the themes and the character development and all the things that ran through this movie were so well done, man. I gotta say, especially when it comes to the character of Helen, played by Janelle Monáe, even Benoit Blanc, how he actually doesn't get to win the day and bring the guy to court and get him arrested. Essentially, they just get even. They don't actually bring him to justice, which is another thing I found very refreshing with this movie. It's a very refreshing way that they, like the whole format of how the story's told, how the mysteries kind of unfolded, how the reveals are shown to you. And also, just the ending in and of itself kind of took things in a more interesting and more unique direction than a lot of these type of movies tend to do. So I did really enjoy that as well. And I gotta say, all the technical stuff was really, really on point and really carried over from the previous film flawlessly. The cinematography is even better in this film. It's so vibrant and so awesome and pretty to look at, but at the same time, you're not distracted by the visuals over substance. This movie is the epitome of style not being over substance at all. Really, really good stuff, man. And I gotta say, awesome soundtrack. I don't know where Rian Johnson be getting who's his music supervisor, but they be getting the needle drops, man. And I didn't even know, funny enough, that this movie's title, Glass Onion, actually originated in real life from a Beatles song from back in the early 60s from their album self-titled The Beatles. So that was pretty crazy. I was actually listening to it the other day after I watched the movie. I was like, oh shit, who knew that? But I love all that, man. You got all this really cool, like, 60s, kind of old school 70s kind of music mixed in with some modern day stuff, but not too much. But yeah, man, I really loved all that. And the overall direction, once again, top-notch stuff. Rian Johnson ain't missed a beat with this at all. And I just think the pacing was so well done. And even though I think this one was around 220, like 2 hours and 20 minutes, I think this one's a little bit longer than the first one, but you definitely do not feel the runtime. The pacing is so well done in this movie. It is just moves at a great clip the whole time, man. Absolutely love that. Let's see, getting into some more of the spoilers here. Any other spoilers, subjects I wanted to get into? Oh, yeah. So the whole thing of Benoit Blanc explaining how Edward Norton's character did everything that he did and the way that he shot Helen, but they made it seem like he shot Andy, but he didn't, and he actually ended up missing her. That was also a cool misdirect. And I like the way that where Batista's character actually ended up dying because he had an allergy to pineapple juice, and Edward Norton's character ended up pouring some of the pineapple juice into his glass, handed him the glass just as Batista's character was grabbing the glass while he was looking forward, talking to somebody and wasn't paying attention, ended up drinking that shit and getting an allergic reaction, which ended up making him suffocate to death. And I thought that was actually a cool little misdirect, too, because I didn't think that Batista's character would go out quite that way in such a non-violent way. And it's actually interesting, a lot of the characters that do die do go out in non-violent ways. Very, very interesting compared to the previous movie, where Chris Evans was, like, blowing up buildings and shit, you know? And once again, spoiler alert for the first one. If you ain't seen it by now, that's on you, man. It's been out for almost 4 years. But yeah, man, just the way that Benoit Blanc was explaining the mystery and showing how Edward Norton's character was misdirecting everybody and all this stuff. And the whole thing of where he said to him at one point in his little office, like, damn, man, you bring all these people that have a motive to kill you to a remote island. It's almost like you're handing him a loaded gun. It's almost like you're leaving a loaded gun on the table, you know? And he ends up literally doing what Benoit Blanc said. Edward Norton literally tries to kill Andy and everyone else in the exact same way he just described to him earlier. So you know the dude definitely ain't got no imagination or creativity, so it's kind of a wonder how he even came up with all this crazy shit that got him famous to begin with, but who the hell knows? And I also like how there was a lot of cool little, like, background movie references in here, and how, like, some of the flashback scenes with the characters, Edward Norton's character is actually dressed up like Tom Cruise's character in Magnolia. I thought that was actually a cool little Easter egg that I saw online. Yeah, man, there's like some really cool little Easter eggs like that. Yeah, man, there's really nothing else I can say about this movie. I absolutely loved it. Top to bottom, one of my favorites of the year. I'm going to be doing a top 10 movies of 2022 list. That should be hitting y'all anytime between now, when you're seeing this, and the new year. We're going to have a top 10 horror movies list and a top 10 TV series list of 2022. So don't be missing that. This is going to be our very last spoiler review of 2022. All the rest of this year leading into the new year, we're going to be doing nothing but rankings and end of the year, anticipated lists, all that stuff. So you're going to be getting a whole bunch of rankings right after this video right here. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of the cool stuff we have planned for 2023. We're going to be hitting the ground running, man. We got some cool movie reviews in the works. We got the premiere of The Last of Us coming in mid-January. So make sure you don't miss any of that stuff. And we want to say, and we want to make sure y'all know that we appreciate all of your support we've had all throughout this year. It truly means the world to us. We have literally almost tripled, if not tripled, our subscriber count right now. We're getting close to 190, trying to get to that 200, you know what I'm saying? So join the community today and help us hit that guideline, help us hit that goal, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, but much love to each and every one of you. We want to wish you a very happy new year, and we're going to be seeing you all the rest of this week, and we're going to be seeing you all in the beginning of 2023. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled for all the rankings we got coming up, guys. Much love. And also, stay tuned. Don't be sleeping on this great content. And we'll catch you again soon, guys. Peace.